Welcome back, everyone, and get ready because we have breaking news coming straight out of Dallas that every Cowboys fan absolutely needs to hear. The injury front has suddenly taken center stage, and the names involved are not just depth players or practice squad fillers. We're talking about key starters, impact contributors, and young players the organization is counting on. That means this is the kind of update that could shape the direction of the Cowboys season, affect game planning, and possibly even alter expectations for how this team performs moving forward. If you follow the Cowboys closely, you already know that injuries at the wrong positions can derail momentum in a hurry. And right now, Dallas has some serious questions to answer. Today, we're diving into the latest on Tyler Smith, KaVontae Turpin, Tyler Guyton, and even Jonathan Mingo, who has been making his presence felt in practice and has now found himself caught up in the conversation as well. Let's begin with Tyler Smith because when you talk about the Cowboys' offensive line, he is the absolute cornerstone of their youth movement and one of the most important players on the entire roster. Drafted as a future star, Smith has quickly become a force at left guard and has shown the versatility to slide outside when needed. But now, reports are surfacing about a concerning injury situation that has coaches, trainers, and fans holding their breath. Smith is dealing with an ailment that could keep him out for an extended period if things don't progress well in rehab. While the team is officially labeling it as day-to-day, anyone familiar with NFL injury language knows that sometimes day-to-day can quietly morph into week-to-week, and that's exactly the fear brewing inside the Cowboys fan base right now. Protecting Dak Prescott and opening lanes for the run game are the very backbone of the offense, and without Smith at 100%, the unit could face real challenges. Now, shifting to KaVontae Turpin, one of the most electric players on the roster, and someone who has carved out a role as a game-changer on special teams and as a gadget player on offense. Turpin's speed and agility make him a nightmare for opposing coverage units, and he's been a spark plug whenever the Cowboys needed momentum. Unfortunately, Turpin too has landed on the injury report, and the concern is that it could rob Dallas of one of their few true home run threats. Turpin's dynamic ability is not something that can be easily replaced. There just aren't many players in the league who can flip the field the way he does with one return or one broken play. The Cowboys staff is being cautious, knowing that his style of play makes him susceptible to tweaks and nagging issues. Still, the timing of this couldn't be worse, with the regular season ramping up and the Cowboys trying to find consistency across all three phases of the game. Fans have already been debating whether Dallas has enough depth behind him, and this latest development throws fuel on that fire. Then we get to Tyler Guyton, the promising rookie offensive tackle who has been impressing since the Cowboys selected him. The front office and coaching staff have high hopes for Guyton, viewing him as not just depth but as a player who could eventually develop into a starter and potentially a long-term bookend on the line. However, Guyton too is now facing an injury situation that has raised eyebrows. Rookies already face a steep learning curve, and when you throw in missed time due to injury, it becomes even harder to adapt to the speed and complexity of the NFL. For Guyton, this is about more than just missing reps, it's about momentum. Every snap he misses is one less chance to build chemistry, refine his technique, and prove he can handle the assignment of protecting the quarterback or creating running lanes. Cowboys fans will be watching closely to see how severe this injury turns out to be because his development is a key storyline not just for this season but for the future of the franchise. And then there's Jonathan Mingo, who may not have been the headline name coming into camp but has steadily made his presence felt with strong performances. His size, speed, and ability to create separation have caught the eyes of coaches and fans alike. But now, Mingo has been added to the growing list of Cowboys players dealing with injury concerns. While his situation may not be as high profile as Tyler Smith's or as potentially impactful as Turpin's, it still matters in the grand scheme of roster construction and depth. Dallas has been looking for answers in the receiving core behind CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks, and Mingo's progress has been part of that conversation. If he's slowed down or sidelined, it not only hurts his chances of carving out a bigger role but also forces the Cowboys to rely more heavily on veterans who may not offer the same upside. The bigger picture here is that the Cowboys find themselves in a precarious position. Injuries are part of football, yes, but the timing and the particular players involved make this stretch especially challenging. The offensive line is already under pressure to protect Dak Prescott after a year filled with ups and downs. Losing Tyler Smith, even temporarily, could undo a lot of the stability they've worked hard to build. The wide receiver group, while talented at the top, is still looking for consistent production behind Lamb, and that's where someone like Mingo could have stepped in. Special teams, meanwhile, rely heavily on Turpin to change games, and without him, Dallas might lose a crucial edge in tight contests. And as for Guyton, the hope was that this would be the year he gained valuable experience, not the year he spent battling injuries. Cowboys Nation is buzzing with speculation right now. Social media is filled with theories, debates, and plenty of concern about whether this is just bad luck or something deeper. Is the team pushing too hard in practice? Are players being rushed back too quickly? Or is this just the natural reality of an NFL season? Whatever the case, the Cowboys' medical staff and coaching team have a huge task ahead. They need to balance the urgency of getting players back on the field with the long-term health and performance of their roster. That's never an easy decision, especially with fans demanding results and the pressure of a competitive NFC breathing down their necks. From a fan's perspective, these injury updates are more than just news items. They directly influence how the Cowboys will look on Sundays. Will the offensive line hold up if Tyler Smith can't go? Will Dak Prescott be forced into quicker throws and more risky decisions without the protection he's used to? Can the run game find rhythm without the lanes Smith and Guyton help open up? And what about special teams? Will the Cowboys be forced to play it safe without Turpin's explosiveness? Or will they find a way to replicate his spark? These are the questions being debated in living rooms, sports bars, and radio shows across Texas and beyond. It's also worth noting that this wave of injuries comes at a crucial juncture for the Cowboys. The NFC East is shaping up to be a battlefield once again, with Philadelphia and New York looking competitive and Washington always capable of pulling off a surprise. In such a tough division, even small setbacks can have ripple effects. Dropping a winnable game because of injuries can be the difference between winning the division and fighting for a wild-card spot. Cowboys fans have lived through enough heartbreak in recent years to know that every detail matters, and these injury concerns are details that cannot be ignored. The coming days will be critical. Expect updates from practices, press conferences, and insider reports as more clarity emerges on the status of Smith, Turpin, Guyton, and Mingo. Fans will be dissecting every quote from head coach Mike McCarthy and every observation from beat reporters. The team itself will be adjusting game plans, possibly giving backups more reps and preparing contingency plans. For the players, it's about treatment, recovery, and finding a way back onto the field as soon as possible without risking further damage. That's always the toughest part, walking the fine line between toughness and prudence, between the urge to play and the necessity of healing. One thing is for sure, the Cowboys' ability to navigate this injury storm will tell us a lot about their resilience and depth. Every season has its tests, and this might be one of the earliest and most significant challenges Dallas faces. If they can hold steady, find solutions, and weather the storm, it could actually build confidence and strengthen the team for the long haul. But if the injuries pile up and the performances dip as a result, this could become a storyline that lingers all year long. Cowboys Nation has been waiting for a breakthrough season, one that brings them back to true contender status, and how they handle this moment could play a pivotal role in whether that dream becomes reality. So stay locked in, because the story is far from over. As more updates come in about Tyler Smith's recovery, KaVontae Turpin's explosiveness, Tyler Guyton's development, and Jonathan Mingo's potential role, we'll be here to break it all down and keep you informed. This is the heart of Cowboys coverage, real, raw, and impactful updates that matter to the fate of the team. Make sure you don't miss what comes next because the season's trajectory could depend on it. And that's going to do it for now, Cowboys fans. These injury updates are serious and worth watching closely, and you can be sure they'll have ripple effects across the roster. If you love this team, you know how important it is to stay on top of every detail, and that's exactly what we're here for. Thanks for tuning in and being part of this conversation. And before you go, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the latest Cowboys news, updates, and analysis. Your support means the world, and we'll be right here keeping you covered every step of the way this season.